I do think core issues related to the functioning of the republic are, especially as it relates to corruption and government wrongdoing, that needs to be front and center, and it rarely is in this city, and it's been shown that with the Republican-controlled House, as I said, passing a blank check for the Biden-Harris regime. Congress had a continuing resolution that it was planning to pass. Speaker Johnson wanted to extend it into March so there wouldn't be fights about spending issues at the end of the year. Democrats want spending issues at the end of the year, and they didn't want anything attached to it that they generally opposed. And Speaker Johnson thought, in the least, that the CR should have attached to it the SAVE Act, which would protect or better ensure that aliens were not voting, non-citizens were not voting in our elections. It failed. And as a result, Speaker Johnson and the Republican majority in the House then immediately worked with Democrats to pass a continuing resolution to the end of the year, just as Democrats wanted. So it doesn't address alien voting. It doesn't address the lawfare against President Trump. It doesn't address the illegal alien invasion. It doesn't address anything substantively. There's a little bit of extra money for the Secret Service that doesn't deserve any extra money. It already has plenty. But I guess politically that was almost unavoidable given the fact the Secret Service is seemingly incapable of protecting President Trump, and Congress's only response in situations like that typically is to increase the budget of a failing agency. So that's par for the course. So I don't want to overstate the gravity of that sin, given the other failures. So Congress passed immediately, as I said, a continuing resolution that funds everything that Republicans in the House say they oppose in the Biden administration and complain about Kamala Harris and Joe Biden moving on. And they could have stopped it, and they chose not to. And now they are, as I noted in the video, they had been on, at least the House had been on, a 6-week vacation. They came back September 8th, and they left on this past Wednesday, which was September 25th, right? Wednesday was the 25th. And they won't be back until after the election. So Congress is gone for the next month. Now you may wonder, well, what are they doing about inflation? Nothing. What are they doing about the invasion? Nothing. I mean, did you see these stats that were forced out of the Biden-Harris regime, where they had to admit that there are 500,000 criminal illegal aliens running around, meaning people who've committed crimes in addition to crossing the border illegally, including, what was it, what was the number of murderers? I think it was like 10,000 murderers and 15,000 criminals who had been engaged in sexual assault out in the streets, practically speaking, led into this country by the Biden administration. Congress isn't doing anything about it. Funding those migrant flights from Haiti and elsewhere. Congress is complaining about Haiti and Venezuela, gangs and crime and such, and just overwhelming local communities, fully funding it. So forgive me for being skeptical of both political parties when it comes to government corruption and abuse, because it's one thing to argue about taxes and such, but I do think core issues related to the functioning of the republic are, especially as it relates to corruption and government wrongdoing, that needs to be front and center, and it rarely is in this city, and it's been shown that with the Republican-controlled House, as I said, passing a blank check for the Biden-Harris regime. And sure enough, Jack Smith this week continues abusing Trump along with Judge Chutkan. He filed some ginormous brief which was outside the ordinary course. Of course, Judge Chutkan let him get away with it. And he wants to publicize large portions of it. It's literally an October surprise. It's a brief that has no, in my view, any legal basis, in the sense that the Supreme Court, prior decision on presidential immunity, should have killed Jack Smith's investigations and prosecutions. But no, he's not going to be. He has the support of the corrupt Attorney General Garland and the Biden-Harris White House. So that's continuing. Literally this week, Congress funds Jack Smith, and literally the next day, he files a brief that is likely to become public to smear President Trump for daring, in retaliation for daring to dispute the election. All of this happening, it will certainly happen in terms of the public nature of what he did, in terms of the document coming out in whole or in part. It will probably happen almost a month to the day before the election. The October surprise from the Biden-Garland Justice Department.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.